get access. All right, so the first thing we want VIX. So this is for the last month. It's coming down. It was a little high, but if you look over the year, this is a pretty good indicator. As you can see here, back in March, it increased and it's been slowly declining. So this might help to show some of the good old you have here, Asia, as I said, is strengthening, but I'm seeing different now, the overall. But just wanted to show you that. All right, so a couple of big things here that have changed. First of all, as you know, we have our regulars, shorts. Our target prices want to be always higher than the current price for that to be a long. So you can see here we have a long here on this. We're starting to get more US dollar forex pairs here. So it's happening with gold as well that we've been tracking. So that's the first thing, is that there's more US dollar in here of the British pound. But you can see here it's holding steady but still has a short. That's for the British against the US dollar. British against the can say we have a long. That's an oil play for sure because it's a commodity up, as you can see here, for the Brent crude. WTI, it's been pretty consistent. These yen on track. So that's quite interesting. I've always talked about that. But it's been flat, so I don't think it's one of those really good pairs right now to be in. This is the other interesting thing, is when you see the market start to lower the euro. So we have another short here, gold trend. Same thing, really depends on what goes on in the US because it's such a driving force. 10-year bond, which if you are thinking that the markets may continue to move up, I do think unless between now and the inauguration of the 20th makes a difference, but once we get confirmed, Hong Kong dollar, Japanese yen, so that pair is staying in place. So Asia enough. Here we have the 5-year. Again, if it's going to continue to do well in the US markets, expect those treasuries to go down. Again, here we have another long for the US Singapore. So this, US Canadian. So that might be the daily on this one. Oh man, I don't know. I think it's my streaming software. It's causing these problems of data. Yeah, so there's the daily. Okay, so it's really flat. Just no performance. There's nothing in there. The Japanese yen may long, and we've talked about the Singapore. It looks like that's continuing to strengthen on the call, but it's really kind of going nowhere. We've talked about the Turkish lira, another long US, but you see there's more and more US dollars, so that's a good sign for the US. But there's a couple of longs here, so keep your eyes out on that. Canadian Swiss franc, another long. So there's more longs now. Hong Kong dollars now starting to shorten, so that might tell you something about the Hong Kong market. Not very strong. New Zealand's cooling off with that short British pound in New Zealand. Another short on the British pound USD, but it's good to see more USD because up until today, actually, there was nothing in USD, but we're seeing more of it. More shorts here with the New Zealand, which I'm quite surprised. So it looks like the Canadian dollar, even months, are starting to reverse because of the US dollar. So Singapore, Hong Kong dollar, that's odd. Anything in Hong Kong is starting to short, it looks like. So that tells you that at least Hong Kong is weakening. Maybe the Japanese, yeah. So again, I was just going to say about the Japanese yen. If there was a long there, I'd say that the yen is starting to strengthen, but we're not seeing that. A short here on the markets for the UK. Okay, so now that's moving it from excellent to good, very good score. Another short, British pound against the Canadian. Now here's what we got to watch out for is in the Swiss franc. That's a short there. Pound against the franc. USD against the franc will strengthen. It's hard to measure that. And again, we're starting to see the Scandinavian, the Swedish, and the Danish. Again, but in US dollar. That's encouraging. So this might tell you that there's something going on with the US dollar where it's coming up as a top contender. So maybe when you read that, maybe for sure the US dollar might start to reverse, but that might be only temporary. Because look what happened with gold, right? We talked about gold looked like it was moving up. Now it's moving down in large excess. So I didn't see that coming, to be truthful. And again, here's the calls that we were putting out on gold and CHF. These big drops. So gold and euro. I would still hang on to maybe, I wouldn't say 10, 15% gold, maybe 5% now. So gold in British pound, gold again in the Swiss franc, and who saw that coming? And it might be due to the US dollar starting to strengthen. That will have an effect on crypto volumes, because we'll talk about that in another video today. But you can see what's going on here. It's nothing but lots of shorts here. Some longs with Scandinavian, Euro and Sweden. We've seen this before. You can see that downtrend since December 6th. Downtrend, even though it's a long, I wouldn't really pay attention to. This is the classic one. Euro and USD, a short there. But again, when you look at the daily, it's been trending up pretty nice. So will it drop? It's hard to say, but it seems to be people are pouring back into the US dollar. So you can see here the UK 10-year, UK 10 100 market, more shorts, but waiting it out. But definitely there is a reversal, seems to be going on with US dollar. So here we have another long call for the US dollar INR. Short on the Saudi. I haven't seen this in a while. USD Thai baht. There's a long there. Second call again for the USD against the Swiss franc. But again, when you see these downtrends, I wouldn't really pay a lot of attention to it. We have now USD in check. But what I'm seeing is more and more USD everywhere. So that is good. But will it be like that tomorrow, or sorry, on the next trading day or the next 2 trading days? So now we're starting to see more longs on the Mexican peso. That's pretty good. I'm seeing more of them. So I guess Mexico might strengthen as well. So that might be an interesting market to watch. USD, I've seen this before with a Swedish. That's the third long, but it usually underperforms. I could say the same thing about Mexico, but it's really hard, as you can tell, and you can be wrong a lot of times. And look at the natural gas starting to flatten out, but it's still holding its own, and it's still a good score. So it just all comes back to weather. Sugar, look at that. Sugar has a nice trend, so this might be a nice one to watch as we go into the spring season. Usually, if I showed you the daily chart, it's pretty good. It did get affected by the crash, obviously, but sometimes I've seen sugar do really well. Nobody talks about it. Swiss franc against the Japanese yen. What was that? Was that it's a slight long there. British pound against that will, yeah. So it's a short. So it looks like the New Zealand is dropping off. Singapore against the Swiss franc. Last one, again, the rand against the Japanese yen. Nothing to get excited about there. But it seems to me that the US dollar is definitely strengthening. So hopefully that'll help you out. I'm just trying to see if there's any comments here. Hang on here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any comments here. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.